What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're down at HBI Auto and we're going to take a look at this 2017 Lotus Evora 400. So massive shout out to them for providing this car for us today. They have a huge selection of awesome pre-owned inventory. All their info is down in the description below. But as I mentioned, this is a 2017. It has just over 9,000 miles on it, listed for right around $80,000. So this is an affordable supercar under $100,000. And just to put that into reference, I have a first gen Audi R8. My brother has a Nissan GTR, the R35. They're right around the same price point. So we have a lot of great options under that $100,000. So we're gonna hop into this in just a second and take it for a drive and see what it's like. But just to go over some of the specs for the Evora 400, this has a 3.5 liter V6. It's actually shared with the Camry engine, so it's tuned, of course, a little bit different. Puts out 400 horsepower. This is also paired to the 6-speed automatic. You can get the 6-speed manual, which I have been in. I'll link some of those videos down in the description below. But with the automatic, you have a 0 to 60 time right around 4 seconds and a top speed of 186 miles an hour. So this is a competitor in that under $100,000 supercar range that you can get a really nice car. And as we come around the back, you can see through the glass here, we have the supercharger attached to this Camry engine. So that is great to see. We have the single exit exhaust right in the middle with a few different driving modes. We can change the exhaust note. And this model also has the upgraded wing. I think this gives it a really cool look, more of that race car-y design, especially with these side pieces here, and Lotus is spelled out on top. So it has a really unique exterior. There's no other car that looks like this out on the road. So for under 100 grand, you can get something that has that exotic look to it. So in a sense, it's kind of like my R8. We have right around the same horsepower. This is a little bit lighter. It's just over 3,000 pounds. And yet it's still a 4-seater. I wouldn't say that we have room for your backseat passengers, but just to show you, I actually owned a Lotus. It was a base model. I used the back seat for extra storage space. You really don't put people back here, but you have that extra storage along with a little bit of storage in the back. While this is a mid-engine vehicle, we actually have all of our camera equipment in the back right now. And all you have to do is push on this bottom button twice. And you can see we have 2 camera backpacks along with a lunchbox and some drinks. And it's going to get hot back here because the engine is there, of course, but if you need to use that additional storage, you have it, which is great to see. It makes it pretty practical, and my Lotus was my daily driver, so I could fit some items back there if I wanted to. And now as we take a look at the interior, you'll see we have some really nice upgrades for this model. We have the leather seats, we have a small screen here. This does have a backup camera just to give you some more visibility, and we do have heated seats as well. So it's a fairly nice interior. It's much updated compared to the 2010 that I owned. And we have all the climates. Everything is laid out very well. We have the gear selector down below, some buttons up top. It's a really nice place to be, even leather on the steering wheel. All right, so as we start off in the Lotus, one thing that all of the Lotuses have is the immobilizer. So you have to double tap the unlock button before you can start this up. And we have it in the ignition. On the 400, we have an engine start button over on the left side, which is kind of cool. It's a 2-step process. Makes it a little bit more kind of like race car focused, if you want to say. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I used to own a Lotus. It was a 2010. It was the base model, so it was not supercharged. Probably about half the horsepower. 250,
yeah, 250,
230, somewhere around there.
So we have the supercharger now on the same 3.5 liter V6, right?
Yeah.
And this is normal mode?
This is normal mode. Exhaust is in basically its quietest mode.
I was holding the camera for the revs that you guys just heard. Normal mode, it's a Camry.
Yeah.
You can just hear the supercharger whine on top of the engine, but there's no exhaust note, which is cool. I mean, it kind of gives you that daily drivable, livable aspect, which if we look at this price range, I think people buying an affordable supercar like the R8, the GTR, even this Lotus, they are gonna use it a lot, you know?
Yeah, you're gonna be driving this every single day as much as you want to. It's not
a third or fourth car. It's probably your second car, or maybe your only car.
Maybe your only car. You could definitely daily drive this car. And what I love about having the Toyota-based platform is you can get this serviced at Toyota.
Yeah.
I've bought oil filters for mine at Toyota. I've brought it in. They've done some work to it for me because it's essentially the same engine.
Yeah.
Aside
you can get a lot of Toyota parts.
Yeah, which is awesome to see. So you have the reliability in the power plant for this car, which is great to see. The exterior is a bit different with all the body panels and stuff. Being a British car, you have to get parts from out of state.
Out of country.
Out of country, yeah. So
those take a little bit of time.
Those take a little bit of time. But aside from that, it's going to be a really reliable car. I put over 10,000 miles on mine.
Yeah,
with zero issues.
In a year?
In a year, yeah.
You got these Sparco seats in this car now. They used to have Recaros and they switched over to the Sparcos. They're pretty comfortable. I wouldn't say they're the most comfortable seats ever, but you do have cutouts if you want to put a 5-point harness in this. So is this race mode or sport mode?
Sport mode.
The gears seem pretty tall. Like you can rev it out.
Oh yeah.
It redlines around 7,000, but goes up to 9,000. So it's a revvy engine.
And that's not anything crazy. It's not a fast car, but it's quick.
It's quick, yeah.
And it's going to be one of the best handling cars around this price point. Not to say, well, compared to my R8,
this is going to be a little bit better.
A little bit better because it has a lower center of gravity. It's still rear-wheel drive, but from my experience, it's kind of hard to get them sideways because you have all the weight of the engine over the back wheels.
Supercharged.
Well,
I'm sure with this one you can get it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But at least comparing to a GTR, it's funny that the GTR does have back seats as well, but you can actually use them. They're actually real seats. This one is a 2+2, so it's really just a baby or a little tiny kid and maybe just luggage.
I never had anyone in the back.
Yeah.
We just tested it to see.
I'd say you have maybe a little bit more storage in this than an R8. Obviously the GTR is way bigger, way faster, but nowhere near as good as handling. So it's cool that, I think that $80,000 budget, personally, since that's what we own right now, I think that's such a great budget because you really can get exotic supercar sports cars that are dailyable and yet are affordable for what they are.
Yeah, and this is a great option. It gives you that exotic look because you don't see them.
Oh yeah.
They're not as popular as some of the other options for this price point.
Like a Ferrari.
Oh, it does. Very long gears.
Very long.
Very long gears.
It's got a lot of muscle though. The supercharger just gives that small little V6 just that power and muscle through the whole rev.
That wasn't pedal to the floor.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything too crazy, but it'll get up and move for what it has to offer.
That sounds so good.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It kind of does sound like a GTR, but not quite as that trumpety noise that we all know and love with that car, but that's a nice tone.
Oh yeah.
And I like the shifts. You can feel it. Is it a dual clutch or an automatic?
I think it's just an automatic.
We don't know. We're not experts on everything. Comment below.
Yeah, it's not a dual clutch.
But it feels, I mean, from this perspective, hopefully I can drive it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we'll get
hopefully
you in
I get to drive it.
All right, let's do another acceleration, and then I'll let Brian hop behind the wheel here.
Sounds so good.
Up and moves.
You get a lot of performance for the money and the handling. I mean,
and even come around these turns.
This is going to be one of the best handling cars, especially for the price and the usability factor.
You can take this to the mountains. I mean, we're coming around a sweeping right.
A pretty sharp turn. These seats hold me so well.
Look at that.
Like seriously, these bolsters, I was stuck in that bolster.
It's a lot of fun for sure, and visibility, even though it's a mid-engine car, like anything, you get used to it.
Yeah.
I got used to driving mine every single day. Visibility's not all that bad. I mean, even though the pillar back there is pretty bulky, but
if you adjust your mirrors properly, you really don't have an issue. All right, my turn in this. I have not driven an Evora in so long.
Probably since mine.
Yeah, I drove a new 400 way back in the day, but it's been a minute. So we're in manual mode?
Manual mode, exhaust, or sport mode.
We're in automatic.
So just pull on the paddles, I think. Just pull on one. There you go. Yeah, you can't do it down there.
Dude, the steering weighs nothing. I just finished driving 2 rear-wheel drive Lamborghini Huracans. Mike drove the one as well, but I was in the Huracan Evo. This steering is, I mean, the next step up, obviously because it's so much lighter.
For a while, I don't believe they had power steering. I think mine did.
The Evoras always did. The Elise did not.
That's what it is, yeah.
Which is cool when you're in the Elise. We've driven those a lot. The Elise doesn't need it, but it's so cool. But this car...
And I've noticed too, in sport mode, the throttle response is even increased.
Oh yeah.
As well. But like we said, it's not a fast car, but you can have fun.
It's not a slow car.
It's not a slow car, but you can have fun in the different gears.
Yeah.
Because unlike some cars where it might go to 4,000 or 5,000, you have so much of a power band all the way to 6. If you really wanted to take it there,
yeah,
you can play in one gear.
I think with this car, like, you just get that exotic aspect. Like, I can see the front fenders. It's got that clamshell, so it's built like an exotic.
Look at your rear view.
I know. You see a huge wing.
Yeah.
This is all about performance. Man. So giving it more gas. Yeah, it's not the fastest car out there. Obviously, I have a GTR, which will smoke this, but it's adequately powered for the weight of it, to where it's all about just balanced driving, I think.
Yeah, power isn't everything.
Yeah, you're not going to get in this and be like, oh man, it needs to be faster. However, you could tune it, do a pulley, and I mean, maybe add 50 horsepower to E85, which of course, you guys know me, that's what I would be doing. But it's a very well-balanced car and gives you such a good blend. And if we do look back at the 3 cars we've already talked about, our personal cars and this, they all offer something completely different. Like, I love being able to see your R8 next to my GTR, because I know both cars are so different. They do something completely different. This car is then another different aspect. Yeah. So this car, you would pick this if you're really all about just fun handling, driving, just handling. Like, if you're a mountain driver or track driver all the time, this is better than our cars. If you want the crazy power and the real practicality, the GTR is your way to go. If you want refined, well-balanced supercar luxury, you want the R8. Right. So they all offer
a full spectrum right there.
Yeah, you got
three cars,
3 perfect cars. And when you look at, you know, people who own crazy expensive supercars like a Lambo, a Ferrari, and a McLaren, these 3 are kind of like the baby versions on a nice budget, which is very attainable. Anybody can honestly afford a car like this. It's nice.
It's nice. Fun. I wish we were in the 6-speed manual, because that is fun to drive.
I will say, yeah, there's a little bit of a delay in the paddle shifter. It's not like the dual clutch you get in the GTR, but I don't see that being a big issue in this car. It seems still pretty nice and refined. Yeah,
so if you're not looking for a manual, you still have a great option with the paddles. It looks like these are aftermarket carbon fiber ones.
Yeah. Cool little car overall. The fit and finish isn't as nice as the Audi. I think the GTR honestly is put together a little bit better. The Lotus stuff, you know, it's not, they don't have a big parent company. Nissan's huge. Audi is part of Volkswagen, you know, they're huge.
They're hand building these.
Hand built everything. Yeah. So you do see that aspect, and it's not hand built like a Ferrari. So it's not on that level.
I will say it's much better than my 2010.
Yeah,
like they've come a long way with all of the leather. It still might be Velcroed in some places, which every car is going to have a pro and a con to it, so don't let that deter you. You know, sit in a few, whatever car it may be, everything's not going to be 100% perfect.
Now, if you do want this car with that perfection, you want a Porsche Cayman GT4. Yeah. Now, that car is going to be around 100 grand, or just get a GTS, which will be similar to this. But I've never really driven those cars much, but that'd be a tough one too. I think that's a better competitor than our cars, because it's the mid-engine layout like this.
True.
You get the extra refinements. Right, you get more exotic in this. I think a better performance feel in this, but then more refinements in the Porsche. So there's so many good options out there. It depends on what you want.
I'd probably go with this. The refinement in the Porsche is a little bit too much for me.
I don't need that.
If you want to be more sporty and have a more sporty drive, you can go with the 400.
So Lotus Evora 400, an affordable supercar.
We even have cruise control.
With cruise control?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Comment down below. Is this an option that you would get for under 100 grand?
80 grand is such a good budget. Like, that is just the sweet spot for, you can get so much for your money.
There's even GT350s, maybe in that price range.
If you're an American Muscle fan, that's a great option too. Like
Hellcats, which they're all going to perform much different. Yeah. So it's all about how you want the car to be balanced. But if you're on the more exotic side like we are,
and performance, this is a great option.
Yeah, this is a great option. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Make sure you guys give it a huge thumbs up. Check out HBI Auto. I'll have all that info down in the description. And consider subscribing to our channel so you can stay up to date on our daily uploads. We'll see you guys in the next video.